Ready?
I did not know we started. My bad. I'm right.
Hi, I'm Austin Earth.
And I'm Taylor Patton. Welcome to the Kitchen Table Podcast.
We're here to motivate, educate, and relate to you guys, sharing our stories, helping you to get 1% better in all areas of your life. Welcome to this week's episode of the 1440. 40 minutes and 40 seconds is 1% of your day, so you can surely focus on something to get 1% better. Taylor, that intro is much better for you. You seemed more excited. He was mad at me before because of the lighting situation. So, again.
Look how much better we look. We look so much better than the last one.
And the sun hasn't even changed that much.
Because you can see us.
We like
Sorry,
sunshine
you can have to hey, if we
on a cloudy
day.
Is
that Austin? Just because I'm a little bit more tan. If
when
we
it's
switch spots,
but I got bigger muscles.
No one would have been able to see you in my spot. No one would have been able to see you. You'd have literally been in the background.
I'm the ghost. Unintentional influence. Taylor.
Yeah.
Biggest things you learned this week. You know what? First of all, before we do that, sorry, we both are like doing 1 second to each other. You may go. You go. I'll fill in at the end. I'll just have to remember.
I'll say one thing is, so this past week, started my new job. And that, not my new job, just my new position at my job. There we go. So in my position, yeah, I have a partner. I have someone that I work with for 7 days while we're on 7 days.
Okay.
Anyway, so the first half he is out for a wedding. The second half he's out because of an injury. So I worked 7 days without working a full shift with my partner, with this man. And so I really had to like just jump in, and as the title says, like it was a very unintentional like learning curve. Like I just had to learn, and that like it was unintentional. Like they had forgot. Our boss had forgot that he was leaving for the weekend and all that, and then the second half, obviously he was injured, so that wasn't purposely planned. But so for my first full week in this position, I'm flying by the seat of my pants, just trying to learn what I can and everything I can. And then I had a follow up with my boss and our person that like supervises us, and that he's like, this position is pretty much like what you make it, and so that like gave me a lot of freedom in the second half when he wasn't there, because I like was kind of like running the position over the weekend, and then he was injured Monday, and then the rest of the week I was not sure how like things worked, and that like how many meetings we had, any like information I had to relay off into like the upper management and all that. And so then it gave me a lot of freedom to be able to change and be able to work in my style, and been able to develop as fast as possible, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And adapt quickly. And then so that was one thing that influenced me this week.
Something for me this week, it's kind of weird because I learned, but I influenced myself, but I tried to influence others, but I also didn't. So I just kind of got a whirlwind of an experience. So I had to run my training division. Shout out to all you Colts kickers in Kansas City this weekend, but it was supposed to be storming, and I couldn't decide cancel, don't cancel. And then the weather, Midwest just keeps changing all the time. So I was unsure what to do because I didn't want it to storm and then have a half hour and then storm again and then keep like storming. And some people drive 3 hours to come to this camp. Plus I had to drive 3 hours.
Yeah.
So
you didn't always feel fun.
Exactly. And the weather kept being pushed back.
Of you.
And that's what I was thinking about. Like, okay, if I was a parent here, what would I want to have happen, you know? And granted, graduation might be next weekend. There's other stuff going on, but I also have people missing due to another camp going on. So it's kind of a big situation. But I decided to cancel it because it was going to storm, and I think it did storm, so that was good. I canceled it just so we didn't have to go to the gym and people could actually kick. But what I was thinking is I am like obviously the coordinator, so I need to make the decision that's best for everybody. And people want to kick, right? But we can make it up, so it's not like we have to kick today type of deal. And if it was an all-day camp, good, I can just delay it for an hour or two. But it's only a couple-hour camp, so I can't really do that because I have another camp in the afternoon. So so I couldn't delay it. I had to have it at the exact time. But I was thinking like, I want them to come back, right, as a customer. So I have to make sure that I don't put them in some sort of harm's way. So unintentionally, I'm thinking I just want a repeat customer, you know.
Yeah.
But by me emailing them 3 times on Saturday to keep them updated about the weather, and then canceling it early, like at 6 o'clock on Sunday morning instead of 7 o'clock when people might have left already, I maybe got myself a customer to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by those actions is what influenced them, hopefully to think, oh, this is a good personal guy. This is who I want to send my kid to. You know?
Yeah.
And I think about that in school all the time. Like, would you want to send your kid to my classroom? Especially as a young, like teaching elementary. Oh my goodness, you spend more time with your teachers than you do your parents. Think about the quality. You better hope you got good teachers because they're learning a lot of things from them. And then on the flip side, you are the product of the 5 people you hang out with the most, right?
Mm.
So we talked last episode about who are you with, but the 5 to 10 people who you interact with on a daily basis, like the people you know the best, people who know you the best, that's who influences you long term, especially as a kid, and then I would say again as a college kid, because you kind of are finding yourself as a teenager, an adolescent into teenage into young adult, and that's when you're kind of getting who you're going to be. Granted, you can always change, but it's harder to change the older you get. So the people you hang out with as a young adult or even a kid influences you as an adult a lot, I think.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that as a parent you're giving your kids the best opportunities, or have somebody to look after you, because kids obviously we think we know it all, but we don't. At that age, you never know it all. So I think it's important to realize who you're with, because we won't realize the unintended consequences or the unintended uh, affirmations that you will receive at a later date.
Yeah.
And there's no way to predict that.
Yeah.
But you can increase your odds, I would say.
Mm.
Like people who want to play professional sports can't be playing in the local YMCA league forever. You just don't have enough quality to get better. At some point, you're going to plateau. Whereas if you're finding challenges and you're open to those challenges and you're meeting those challenges, like with the challenge last week, that's when you start to make more progress. Then you can keep meeting those challenges. The more you can meet it, better it is. I saw a quote by a CrossFit guy, Josh Bridges, the other day. I talked about it on here. Said, "Do it because you don't want to." Literally, get up. If you don't want to do it, who cares? You know what? Do it just because you don't want to. If you no other motivation, just because you don't want to do it, that's growth right there. Right? That's you're influencing yourself. That's the easiest person to influence, yourself. That's something we didn't talk about.
Forget Austin. I just wrote that down.
Thanks.
You read my notes?
No,
I swear you
I
won't.
can't read your handwriting. But seriously, think about, like I said, I basically influenced myself. Like I became a better person by making the decision I made, that I chose. I didn't even mean to influence myself. I wanted to influence others, but I actually influenced myself, and that's not me boasting. That's just a straight fact.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing. If you influence yourself, that helps you grow to be a better person. Or if it's a consequence, you still helped yourself.
Yeah. And that's like kind of like a lot of times like a lot of people like don't think about how they're unintentionally like influencing themselves.
Yeah.
And that like I said this last night like to you when we were talking about how like a lot of people live their life from their like past situations, from their and that instead of living life in the current situation and learning from the past, they just live through the past.
Yeah, they make the same. I'm literally a culprit of that. When you said, I was thinking like I do that in my workouts. I just do the same thing. I'm not changing them for the better.
Yeah.
Eating, I definitely learned from the past, but
yeah,
some habits are hard to break.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, yes, the present is what you have right now, but the present has like the past built into the present.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking a lot about that and how like undisciplined and that like I've been and that I feel like I do a lot of things willy nilly. And so I think that's something that like I decided like was intentionally like unintentionally like influencing myself.
Yeah.
The same thing with is like how we just talked about like my 7 days on, 7 days off is like I was like this is my third, fourth day now.
Yeah.
And I felt like bored or like I didn't know what to do with my time.
Yeah.
Now I just have 7 days of free time essentially.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about it. It's like I'm not a workaholic. I'm just a timeaholic.
Same.
I really like my time.
I hate doing nothing. I thought that on Saturday. I was like, all right, what are we gonna do for the next hour and a half, babe? Like we got an hour and a half. Can we do something?
And that's why like I think I like work because it's continually like I'm always doing something.
Yeah.
Like there's always something I can go like do or someone to talk to. And so when I'm like working, it's just I feel more comfortable.
I have the same problem. I hate when I have stuff to do because I just run through it, and I hate when I have nothing to do because I want something to do.
And so I think that's just something like on my side is like I just need to get
better at doing nothing.
Not even that, more like influencing myself to when I have nothing or like nothing to do, being able to motivate myself and to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's
because I don't know, maybe it's just because you're built different. You're a different breed.
I'm built for it.
But like a lot of people, I feel like this happens to a lot of people. I hear a lot of people. They just like when they have nothing, when they have a lot of things to do, but then like they have a few hours of nothing, they get like overwhelmed because they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And that's how like I would break down like my feeling.
Yeah.
I think over the weekend it was nice because like we had things to do. Like I went fishing, the weather was nice, and then I went and actually got things done that I've been meaning to get done for a while. But
yeah, I don't really have that problem because I always like I start getting stressed. Like today, I was like, I gotta look at ESPN.
Yeah.
I gotta look at the podcast. I was like stuff that I didn't like wasn't pressing or was more of a hobby. I didn't have to do it that minute, but I was like, I gotta do this, and this. Next thing you know, I'm stressed out about it.
Yeah.
But the best thing to do when you have stuff to do, in my opinion, is get things done.
Yeah.
Sitting there doesn't solve any problems. But I also think when you're like have nothing to do, I think that's a great time for reflection. I think that's a great time, especially when it's nice out, to go get an extra workout, go for a walk.
I went on a walk the other day by myself for like the first time in ever. Usually I should run. I went for a walk, and that's where my thought process came. Like a lot of people like live through the past, and that instead of learning from it.
I mean, going for a walk is so underrated. You think great, you get some exercise, metabolism goes up. You obviously get the sun, the natural earth boosting from you. You get that vitamin D. And you know what? In college, like when I was like when I first moved to UNI and I didn't know a lot of people, I would go for walks all the time, either to class or just because I wanted something to do, and it like kept me sane because it's just some time and you hear the trees, you hear the squirrels.
It's just a walk. I mean, I'm just a big music person, but and so I used to listen to music and walk and just go to St. Stephen's.
Yeah, I mean it's very soothing.
I didn't really do. I was going to St. Stephen's.
Yeah.
That's why I was so bad at school. I just want to hang out with people.
Yeah, and I think that's great to hang out with people. But I was also thinking, you know what? Like, so I'm really good at this now. When you got to work, you got to put your head down and work. And when you got to enjoy life, I really enjoy life. So, like, for instance, today is like I got to work at school. Like, I got to get some stuff done. But on Saturdays, like, you know what? I have nothing really pressing today. I can just enjoy life. So I think, again, God gave you that gift. Like, you're supposed to have days of work and days of play.
Yeah.
And the better, again, we talked about balance, but the better you can balance those, better off to be. So my advice to you would be on your off days to find a hobby or enhance your hobbies that you already have, because you have time to spend on them.
Yeah.
So turn them into passions if you want to pursue that.
It's the goal.
So, all right. I think that's it for this episode. You guys aren't going to get any extra credit today, first time in a while. Thanks for tuning in. We got our last episode on influence next week, so be sure to tune in on next Tuesday.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.